Welcome back to The Law Factor Live on DBS. We're talking about minding your own business and making sure that in life, if there's something that you want to do, please do it. Do it. If you have any questions, we have some great guests here tonight. I'm sure you've realized they know their stuff. Well, luckily, I am wearing my glasses from Vision Express because I've actually had some handsome men in the studio with me, and I wanted to make sure that I can see them properly and that I was stylish in doing so. Now, we're joined by Marcellus Joseph, who is the manager of the James Belgrave Micro Enterprise Development Fund, which is BELFUND. Welcome, Marcellus. It's nice to have you on the set, and we've had some interesting conversations offset, which I'm sure we will ensure that our viewers have a part of that. So before we actually go into the program, I want to say to you viewers, I am so shocked. We've asked you a simple question and we're yet to get really good, correct answers. We asked you what is an equity fund, and you know, something like this, I'm worried as to why we don't have the answer. So we're going to try within our conversation. Jamal has been very helpful in terms of the things that he can tell us about that. So listen very carefully, and I may just extend the closing a little if I see that you're making the attempt. There is something wonderful to get from it as well. All right, now before the break we were talking of course to Kurt ELIBOX, and we were talking about his you know, how he began in business, and of course I know you're sitting there waiting to find out a little bit more about Jamal, so we're going to do that, and then we will talk to Marcellus, who can tell us more about the financial side of things, about the other helping, the supportive things that are happening out there that perhaps you may not be aware of. Okay, so sit tight, but at the same time try and answer some questions to win something tonight. So Jamal, tell us, you know, you heard Kurt's story. I mean, what's yours, and are there any similarities?
Well, the main similarity, to start off with, is the difficulty in securing financing to start your venture. And, you know, it's one of the greatest challenges that most entrepreneurs face in starting up. And it's why, you know, we pose the question of you know, what is an equity fund? I sit as the chairman of the Youth Enterprise Equity Fund, which is a subsidiary company under the SLDB, the St. Lucia Development Bank. What the YEF does is really invest in startup companies. We have a fund, an equity fund valued at $5 million, and we invest up to $50,000 in individual firms to help them start up their companies. An equity fund is different from a loan. A loan, you know, you make monthly repayments, which can be very burdensome to a startup business. What the equity fund does is really, we take a stake in that business. We support the business in terms of we provide mentorship, we provide managerial training for that business to ensure that the business gets off the ground, to ensure that the business is successful, and we divest our interest in the business not longer than a period of 7 years in the business. So it's an alternative method of securing finances or financing for startup companies.
Mm-hmm. And I think we would assume that many people would know about that. I'm sure Marcellus will tell us some other things perhaps that people can look at. But I mean, where did you start in terms of your business? How did you begin?
I started off with, as I said earlier, with an idea, with a realization that, you know, there was a niche market that could be satisfied. I realized that Digicel and AT&T at the time were coming into the market. The market was being liberalized, so competition was coming in, and a lot of opportunities would have been created with the entry of these two networks on the island. So I set out initially looking for. Actually, I went on vacation in Miami, and I bought a case, one of those designer cases for my cell phone, and I came back to St. Lucia. And at the time, my mindset was, you know, my mind was just really working 24 hours a day, trying to think of what I could do to earn some extra income.
Where were you working at the time?
I was a research specialist at the National Skills Development Center. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it was a very interesting job, and it was really critical in me realizing what was happening in the economy, because my responsibility really was to provide labor market information, provide information about the economy, feed that information back into the skill center, and provide training for young people, young unemployed people, who some of them who were displaced from the offset of the banana industry. So, you know, I had to know what was going on out there, what was going on in the economy, what was going on in the business world. And I stumbled across this, and I took the opportunity. I set off after a month. I think I went back up to Miami, and I bought a whole bunch of accessories. At the time, I bought them retail, not really, just trying to get to be in the market first. I bought it, I came down, and I scoured Castries looking for a location. I stumbled across a 200 square foot location, which was opposite the Ave Maria School at the time. And, you know, the business was a real success, because Lime at the time, or Cable and Wireless at the time, they were trying to prepare for the entry of these two networks, and the price of cell phones had been reduced to, you know, to $50, to under $100. So a cell phone was no longer a luxury item. Cable and Wireless was trying to flood the market with phones at the time, and we had all the accessories for these phones at the time. So we had the flashing keypads, the flashing antennas, all the glitter and the glamorous accessories for cell phones. So it was a really big hit at the time. Digicel came and they approached me and they asked me, you know, they were impressed with the operation, the small operation that I ran, and they asked if I wanted to become an agent for them. You know, I played a little hardball initially, you know, and then I did my research and I realized that, hey, you know, Digicel is really a company that's really done well in Jamaica, and they're really going to have a significant impact in the Caribbean. And one of the guys at Digicel said, you know, if you really want to be successful in this business, you need to have a network of stores. So in a matter of 3 months, I had 3 stores. In Castries, I was given one of their flagship stores to operate at the time. I guess they saw they felt a certain level of confidence with me. And, you know, 10 years later, we have 10 outlets, from St. Kitts and Nevis down to St. Vincent.
Wow, that's wonderful. And it would be nice to talk about the actual growth, how you grow. But I've had Marcellus sitting at the set here and not even had a chance to speak to him. And I'm going to have to hold that thought with you, because we have to quickly go into the break. But when we come back, we'll be talking about BELFUND and how they can help you if you want to consider starting your own business. So, of course, stay with us on The Law Factor Live. We'll be right back.